Scott Morrison's shrugging off Malcolm Turnbull's return to the full glare of public attention and has dismissed his suggestion the government's racked by factionalism and bullying. In an hour-long ABC broadcast, the former Prime Minister named the 9 ministers he blames most for destroying his leadership. Here's political editor Andrew Probyn.
Prime Minister, why was Malcolm Turnbull wrong?
It's the question that still haunts.
Malcolm Turnbull isn't running. I'm running. Bill Shorten's running. And here's the... Now you've asked me the question. You've got to let me answer.
Oh, okay. On the far side. Okay, thank you.
From the sidelines came the sidelined, but with no more light to shed.
Why aren't you still Prime Minister?
And that's the question I can't answer, of course. The only people that can answer that are the people that engineered the coup. There are people like Peter Dutton and Tony Abbott and Greg Hunt and Matthias Cormann.
Malcolm Turnbull names the 4 main assassins in that mad week in August. His failed challenger, the long-time rival, the health minister and his one-time protector-in-chief.
I did not anticipate that people would act, particularly cabinet ministers, would act so self-destructively.
Well, they've got to be responsible for their actions. They made a decision about not supporting Malcolm, and they have to be responsible for that.
And so why did they get rid of him?
Well, you have to ask them that.
I certainly did not engineer any coup.
Although he went no closer to explaining why it happened than on the day itself.
It became obvious this week, sadly, that the Liberal Party hadn't united sufficiently behind Malcolm Turnbull.
And the deposed says he knows why.
What you've seen increasingly is the right saying, if you don't, even if they're not in a majority, if you don't give us what we want, we'll blow the show up.
Malcolm Turnbull may not have taken any blame for what happened to him, but he did identify the threat posed by the struggle between the Conservative and moderate wings of the Liberal Party. That struggle isn't any closer to being resolved under Scott Morrison, even if weapons have been temporarily sheathed. As reconciliation of sorts comes from an unusual corner.
And I'd just like to say to my departed colleague, Mr Turnbull, we think you've still got a role to play, not in a partisan fashion, but perhaps providing some opportunities to extend the case for Australia overseas.
But then again, winners often have most to give. Andrew Probyn, ABC News, Canberra.